Believe it or not, some of the healthiest foods seniors eat every day, like broccoli and spinach, can actually make your blood pressure worse. Not because the foods are bad, but because of one small mistake in how they're prepared or eaten. And most people have no idea they're doing it. In fact, you could be eating vegetables every single day, thinking you're helping your heart, while your blood pressure stays exactly where it is, or quietly climbs higher without any obvious reason. But here's the good news. Once you fix this, certain foods can start working for you instead of against you, and some of them can begin lowering your blood pressure naturally in just a few hours. There are 6 foods in particular that stand out. And the first one is probably not what you'd expect. It's dark chocolate. Not the sugary kind most people snack on, but real dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa. This works because dark chocolate is rich in compounds called flavonoids, which help your blood vessels relax and improve blood flow. And when your blood vessels relax, your blood pressure comes down. Research has found that people who eat a small amount daily can see a measurable drop in both their upper and lower blood pressure numbers. Not a dramatic drop, but real and consistent over time. Now, here's where a lot of people go wrong. They hear chocolate is good for you, and they reach for milk chocolate or candy bars, which are loaded with sugar and can actually push things in the wrong direction. But just a small square of the right kind each day, around 1 ounce, can start to have the opposite effect. And in a second, I'll show you how to pair this with another food that makes it even more effective. But first, let's talk about one of the fastest acting vegetables you can eat for blood pressure. Beets. Yes, the same vegetable most people ignore at the store. Quick question, have you ever actually tried beets? Yes or no in the comments. Beets are packed with natural nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. That helps your blood vessels relax and widen, making it easier for blood to flow. Some people actually see a drop in blood pressure within just a few hours, and the effect can last well into the next day. That means one smart choice at dinner can still be working for you the following morning. Picture this. You roast some beets with dinner on a Tuesday night. Nothing fancy, just a simple swap. You wake up Wednesday morning, check your numbers, and they're lower than they've been in weeks. That's not a coincidence. That's nitric oxide still working while you slept. But there's a mistake here too, and it's the reason a lot of people try beets and don't see results. They either buy the canned version loaded with sodium, or they eat beets packed with added sugar. If you want the real benefit, stick with fresh roasted beets or plain beet juice with no added ingredients. Even a small glass in the morning is enough to start making a difference. Now remember earlier I mentioned pairing foods together? This is where it gets interesting. And if you're finding this useful, hit subscribe so you never miss our videos. We publish new ones every week on eating well and living healthy after 60. Now, back to that pairing I mentioned. When you combine dark chocolate with foods that support blood flow like beets, you're not just adding benefits, you're stacking them. The flavonoids from dark chocolate and the nitrates from beets both act on your blood vessels, but through slightly different pathways. So when you get both in the same day, the effects build on each other, and that's where real change starts to happen. Now, the third one on this list is something many seniors already eat, but often cancel out without realizing it. I'm talking about leafy greens like spinach, kale, and arugula. These are loaded with potassium, which helps your body get rid of excess sodium and ease pressure on your blood vessels. What most people don't realize is that low potassium is just as big a factor in high blood pressure as too much sodium. So it's not only about cutting salt, it's also about making sure your body has what it needs to balance things out naturally. But here's the exact mistake that ties back to what we talked about at the beginning. It's not the spinach, it's what you're putting on it. Bottled dressings, salty toppings, and processed add-ons, they can turn a healthy salad into something that quietly raises your blood pressure instead of lowering it. A simple switch makes all the difference. Use olive oil or lemon, then maybe add a few nuts or seeds. Same food, but a completely different outcome. Now, the next one might be the easiest habit to add into your day because it's something you can drink: hibiscus tea. This deep red tea has been shown to help lower blood pressure by relaxing your blood vessels, similar to how some medications work. Some research has found it can reduce the top number by several points in just a few weeks of consistent use. But there's one thing that determines whether it actually works or not: consistency. One cup here and there won't do much, but drinking it daily, even just 1 or 2 cups, can start to make a noticeable difference over time. Think of it as something that belongs to you, a quiet 5 minutes at the end of the day. No doctor's office, no prescription, just you, a warm cup, and a small act of taking care of yourself. That kind of daily ritual is something you can actually look forward to. Now, earlier I mentioned there's a simple way to make it more enjoyable without adding sugar. Here it is. Brew it slightly lighter than the package suggests, then add a small slice of fresh lemon or orange. The citrus naturally softens the tartness without any sweetener. You get the full benefit and none of the bitterness that makes most people stop drinking it after a few days. That one small adjustment is often the difference between a habit that sticks and one that quietly fades. Now, the fifth food is one of the most overlooked, and it usually shows up at breakfast. Oats. Oats contain a special type of fiber called beta-glucan, which helps reduce cholesterol and supports overall heart health. And when your heart is under less strain, your blood pressure tends to follow. Beta-glucan works by slowing digestion and helping your body process everything more gradually. That steadier process puts less stress on your cardiovascular system over time. It's not something you feel overnight, but over weeks and months it builds. But here's where things quietly go wrong. Those instant flavored oatmeal packets. They seem healthy, but many are packed with added sugar and even sodium, which works against everything you're trying to do. A better option is plain oats with something natural added in. A handful of berries, a drizzle of honey if needed. Maybe a little cinnamon, which some research also links to healthier blood pressure on its own. And that brings us to the final food on this list, which might be the simplest of all. Berries. I'm talking about blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. These are rich in antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and keep your blood vessels flexible. When your blood vessels stay flexible, your heart doesn't have to work as hard to push blood through them. Less strain on the heart means less pressure building up in the system overall. And here's what's interesting. People who eat berries regularly tend to have better long-term blood pressure control than those who don't. Not just for a few days, but consistently over time. But there's one common mistake that can cancel out the benefit: adding them to sweetened yogurt or covering them in syrup. A better option is plain Greek yogurt or just eating them on their own. Now, let's come back to that simple fix we talked about at the beginning. Why do healthy foods like broccoli and spinach sometimes make things worse? It almost always comes down to hidden sodium, added sugars, or processed combinations that undo the benefits. Once you clean that up, everything changes. Now, instead of working against you, these foods start working for you. And it doesn't have to be complicated. A bowl of oats with berries in the morning, a salad with leafy greens and olive oil at lunch, maybe some roasted beets or plain beet juice during the day, a cup of hibiscus tea in the evening, and a small square of dark chocolate after dinner. 5 simple habits, one each day, and when you stack them together consistently, the effect compounds. Your blood vessels get more support, your sodium and potassium balance improves, inflammation eases, and your heart has less work to do. That's not one thing doing a little, that's several things working together. And that's when people actually start to see their numbers move. Which one of these 6 are you going to try first? Tell me in the comments and I'll reply. And if you want to take this even further, the next video breaks down the worst foods that quietly raise blood pressure, even ones that seem healthy at first glance. Be sure to watch that video next, and I'll see you there.